Cool.
Fontana and Schulting, and this time Schulting does head her off. She's going to take some beating now, Susanna Schulting. Remember, this race is just 4.5 laps. Fontana desperate to try and get ahead of her rival. Bhutan in third, then it's Chang and Dishman. But it's Schulting leading as she's done all the way through. She's going to take some real betting. Fontana will bide her time. Look for the slightest opportunity. Can she do it and win a second straight gold medal in the 500 metres? Schulting. There's Fontana making a move. Can Fontana hold the lead? Fontana, what a move. Half a lap to go. The Italian in control. Can Schulting find a way past Fontana? Oh, yes. Ariana Fontana with a second straight gold medal in the women's 500 metres. What a legend she is. Well, shooting in...
Tactically brilliant from Ariana Fontana, the 31-year-old Italian, a performance that earned her a second consecutive gold medal in the 500-meter short track speed skating event. But even greater than that, and yes, there's something greater than winning an Olympic gold, it was her 10th medal in Olympic history, making her by far and away the most successful short track speed skater in Olympic history. What a way to say welcome to you, joining our broadcast of Winter Prime, the evening edition, as we review the highlights, the big performances of the Beijing Winter Games. My name is George Davis, and I'm here hanging out with Chris Taylor, who's in studio with me, and across the Caribbean Sea is the gentleman Anil Roberts. Chris, Ariana Fontana saw a window. She made a decisive move in that window, and she was never going to be headed from that point in coming out to take gold.
Yeah, great tactics by her as well, and we've seen this throughout the Olympics so far. Skaters, especially speed skaters, just using the timing very well, waiting for the right moment and then to pounce. And you used an analogy the last time as well to speak about how an animal pounces on their prey.
Yes.
And I thought it was excellent. Very experienced now, 31 years of age. And as you said, it's hard enough to win the title, but to defend the title is even a bigger deal. And that's excellent to see that back-to-back gold medals. The Italians certainly on form.
Yeah, Anil Roberts, a 500 meters short track speed skating gold that was highly touted by the expert before these Olympic Games, but the pressure of having to deliver, the opposition, high class, the task and acid test, and the Italian has aced that test here, Anil Roberts, and she stands alone in the pantheon of great short track speed skaters. She stands alone because she is the most illustrious, the most decorated. She is the best.
And so are you, as you wax poetic with your adjectives and your great diction. But I must remind the people, George Davis, that we had a little discussion yesterday, and you were trying to tell me that it is the young guns and the young tools with an anaerobic capacity who will take it.
I think he's frozen in time, Anil Roberts, just for the moment. Just for the moment. Technology robbed him of the chance to complete that point, but he'll get the chance to complete the point. If we may take up that debate between us, Chris, while we get Anil back into the land of the unfrozen. The fact of the matter is that sport is a young person's pursuit. There is no question about it. And the more vigorous the competition, the more competitive an event, the more competitive the sport, the more it favors younger athletes. Correct. With the kind of youth on their side that overcomes other obstacles that will hobble persons who are far more advanced. But that said, there is still a case to be made about experience and know-how. And what we've seen at these Winter Olympics are several competitors, gold medalists, who have capitalized on know-how to beat those who have youth on their side.
No, certainly. And as you said, there are certain events that suit the younger fraternity as well. But yes, you have to look at some athletes have struggled in the early part of their career, but based on experience and being the know-it-all, going through the different years of competitions and so on, they then gave that experience, that takes them over the hill, takes them to that title. And as I said, her first title at what, 27 years of age, so she was certainly mature at that stage, had been around for a while. 26 times she's been a major medalist between the World Championships and the Olympics. So during the course of her career, building that experience and then, you know, bring it here back to back, as you said. Or in those 26 medals, only 3 of them have been gold and 2 have come in the last 2 Olympics. So it shows that it took a while for her to get to this level.
Anil, we're going to have a debate, you and I. We're going to make it a spectator event, and I'm going to come to Trinidad to engage you. Finish the point you were making before you were frozen by the technology, my friend.
Well, I think, George Davis, you must have been controlling the internet here in the south of Trinidad. I mean, there's a big election going on, so I know, and Chris made the point for me, that sometimes it's a mix of anaerobic capacity and experience. That move on the final corner by Ariana was what it had to go, where she took the inside. It was very risky, and it paid off. One can remember the Summer Olympics, the Trinbagonian cyclist Nicholas Paul. He made 3 fatal mistakes, one after the next. He was the fastest man in the Olympics, but no medal because he lacked the experience to make that decisive move at the right time. And Ariana showed it, and she's now the most prolific in short track skating.
Yeah, I want to make one last point on Ariana Fontana, gentlemen, and it is this. That move she made, which brought her from the silver medal position to the gold medal position, from second to first, that's the kind of move that you see a Formula One driver make on a hairpin corner. Just one opening, one chance. If he breathes, he misses the opportunity. And she saw it. She would have been preparing for it as well, Chris.
Correct.
Preparing to exploit that part of her rivals, that chink in her rival's armor, because she would have known that shuttling would be prone to go wide at that particular turn. And she waited, and there it is. In a moment, she was gone. You can't make that move without preparation.
And experience.
Absolutely.
And as you said, timing, the integral thing, timing. Had she made that too early, she could have been surpassed yet again. So it's the timing of it all, and as you said, that comes with experience.
All right, let's talk about the Dutch woman now, Irina Wust. She won the 1,500 meters, and it is a triumph for experience once again, gentlemen. And I'm giving Anil Roberts grist for his mill. But talk to me about the Dutch woman, Anil, Miss Wust, and her command performance on her way to winning gold.
Well, it was on the way to winning gold, and she beat the world record holder of Japan, Van Silva. A time of 1:53.28 was an Olympic record, and she showed such speed, such pace. Now, this distance is similar in swimming to a 200 freestyle. It's one of those distances that is very difficult to judge. It's not an all-out sprint like a 500, but it's not a long-distance race. You have to get your pace absolutely perfectly, or the race can be a disaster. It's a race that requires mental preparation more than physical preparation. It requires experience and flawless execution, and that's what Wust of Netherlands did. And they're taking it to the track and doing very well.
The point to be made here, Chris, is that this woman has done something extraordinary. No athlete in the history of either the summer or the winter games or any other event named Olympics has managed to win 5 consecutive gold medals at consecutive Olympic Games. She's broken a record where she shared the stage with Carl Lewis, or shared the record with Carl Lewis and Michael Phelps and Al Orta as Olympians who had won 4 gold medals at 4 consecutive Olympic Games. She's now 5. She stands alone. This is greatness by any measure.
And we're talking about experience. It doesn't get better than this, as you said, 35 years of age, so strengthening your point even more. This is a 12-time Olympic medalist. 12-time Olympic medalist. So, as I said, major feat. She's actually the oldest woman ever to win gold in speed skating. So, records galore. Olympic record as well. So, amazing feat. I mean, as you said, this run alone showing many different things. And she was so humble about how she expressed, winning this event and what it meant to her. But as you said, experience coming to the fore yet again.
Anil, I want to ask you about the technical excellence required to deliver the performances that we've seen, like Fontana's a short track win, like Wust's 1,500 meters win, because I get the sense, Anil, that more than in any other field of endeavor, the Winter Olympics is almost about perfection. Perfection, or the lack thereof, is the difference between a gold medal and a silver medal. You'll hear athletes on the track in the summer games run an event or jump or throw and say, well, technically it wasn't my best, but it was good enough to win the gold medal. You don't hear people say that at the Olympic Games, at the Winter Olympics. You're talking about technical excellence, the chase for perfection, and what Vust did qualifies under the umbrella as a perfect display on how to tackle the 1500-meter speed skating course.
Well, you are absolutely correct, and it has to do with the medium on which you're competing. When you're track and field, you're going against air. So technique is important, but the air doesn't provide you with great resistance. When you're in the swimming pool and the water is impacting your body, when you're not streamlined, or you're not focused, and your technique is not sound, the deficit will be magnified. When you are on ice, and everything to generate power, you have no real friction. It's momentum, it is coordination, it's consistency, it's stopping the deceleration. The technique is so impeccable, and one little flaw will be exacerbated on the ice and slow you down tremendously. When you see the keeping of the one hand behind as they cross over, when you see the short step to take the corner, the long glides without going out too wide, holding your body in symmetry, keeping your center balance low, and just making sure that the speed that you're going at, the wind will not drag you back. The coaches, hats off to them. They have to be immaculate. The technology, the training in the rooms, the computer analysis about the resistance in different positions is key. Perfection is the rule. You're correct, George.
Yeah, and as we go to the break, how many times have we seen people at the Olympics or the World Championships and the Summer Games win medals where their hurdling technique isn't the best? You will never even make a final at the Winter Games if your technique in your particular event is dodgy. That's how high the standards are, and that's why we're treating the Winter Games almost as we treated these Summer Games. Break time here on Winter Prime, the evening edition. Back with more after these.
Now we go to Max Parrot, who is currently in the third spot with a 79.86. Max Parrot, a three-time Olympian, your 2018 Olympic silver medalist in big air. 12 World Cup podiums. Here's Max Parrot, run number 2.
Going hard way 2.7 into that front board on the down section of that rail. And you see that 360 on, 180 off. Max is a technical wizard.
Oh, now he's a goofy foot rider, so he's going to come and switch to the first jump line. Jump number 1. 4.5, that's the cab, 16.20.
Wow.
4.5 to 14. Getting dizzy just trying to call these.
Wait, is he going to up this to the 18 right now?
4.5, 16.20.
Okay. So he's just cleaning up his first run.
Let's take a look here at Max Parrot going to work in his office.
You see him spinning hard way onto that first down section of that first rail. That is very hard because he's moving his body essentially the hardest way.
All right, so you see a man in the snowboarding slopestyle, and he's going through his routine, and his routine looks sound, and then you hear that he has won the gold medal, and you ask yourself, well, okay, so what's so extra special about this? He's won the gold medal. What is worthy of a commendation beyond that? Well, consider this. 3 years ago, to this very day, exactly 3 years ago, This man was in a hospital room, wired up to all sorts of machines in a hospital, being treated for Hodgkin's lymphoma, one of the most aggressive form of cancers around. He was getting treatment for that at that time. 3 years later, he stands atop the the medal podium as the gold medalist in this snowboard slopestyle. That is what makes Max Parrot, the Canadian's achievement, oh so special. It's a triumph of the human spirit over anything else, Chris Taylor.
Yeah, and that's a great thing about the Olympics, these kind of stories. We think about Viana, who we spoke about, the young Haitian being an orphan and then, being adopted. We think about this story, cancer. Winning the silver medal at the Olympics in 2018, only then to get cancer, beat it in 2019, return to action, wins a silver in the 2019 World Championships, and then to accomplish this here. I mean, great story, just 27 years of age. And as I said, these are the kind of stories we expect to hear at the Olympics. Great performances, great stories, great lives, great athletes.
Yeah, Anil Roberts, the man has a book, and the book title roughly translates to him saying, the gift of life, and him winning the battle against cancer and still living. That is his greatest gold medal. That was before he actually landed gold, the precious metal, at these Winter Games. It all makes for a rather wonderful story.
Well, I will have to parrot what Chris and you said about Parrot. He is just incredible. And there is no gold medal that can beat surviving that form of aggressive lymphatic cancer, Hodgkin. I mean, far less to come back and be an international athlete and then to come to win gold. What I cannot understand, Chris, you see these maneuvers at high speed, 8 rounds, 360 by 3 with twist and flip. Now, did you ever see how painful it would be to learn these things? Because you don't start off good like that. When you start to practice, it has plenty of stairs, it has plenty of low, it has plenty, and that height is not so. I remember playing in England football in 1985, coming from Trinidad, and it snowed. About an inch and a half of snow, and I got in there with my aggressive style, and I slid tackle a hand, thinking that I was on soft, beautiful snow, when the ground underneath was frozen rough. I nearly didn't play the rest of the game. This guy and these athletes on this slopestyle are incredibly brave, technically brilliant, disciplined, and hats off to them and a road for fighting cancer, beating it, and winning gold.
Yeah, well, the man, Max Parrot, he was waiting on the result, and then he was told that he won. Let's relive that moment and, of course, hear from him following his gold medal performance.
Max Parrot, the new Olympic champion. Just 3 years after battling back from cancer, Canada's Max Parrot had done it. Gold for Canada's Max Parrot.
I definitely didn't want to have another silver or bronze. I wanted to gold, and that's what I've been saying for the past months, that I was going for gold. And to lay down today the biggest run of my entire career means so much to me. It was a really challenging run. Out of this 6 feature, there were at least 5 features that I was challenging myself on and I was stressed about, and to lay all of them at the perfection meant so much for me. And especially, last Olympics in Pyeongchang, I got silver, and then the year after, got diagnosed with cancer. And so much has happened between Pyeongchang and Beijing, and I'm just so grateful for winning gold medal right now.
Your story is so amazing, and you did survive cancer, as you mentioned. Did you ever think you would get back to this stage?
It was never an option for cancer to beat me. I can say that like this. But for sure, I was scared a lot of time. You don't know how the treatment's going to work. You don't know what life has got for you. I was healthy. I was 24 years old. I was an athlete, and I had cancer. It just proves that it can happen to anybody. And for sure, I was scared. but I never let cancer a chance. I fought like so hard every day to beat cancer and to go through my 12 treatments of chemotherapy. And even though it was a nightmare, I'm really proud of myself to be able to come back to the scene after, to gain my energy, my muscles, my cardio, and to be back on the Olympic podium 3 years later, but with the gold this time.
Yeah, Max Parrot there. What a wonderful story. Fact is, Hodgkin's lymphoma usually attacks people between the ages of 20 and 40 years old, and then those over 50, he fell right into the range of likely victims, likely persons likely to contract that kind of cancer, and beating it. You know, and Chris, just before we go to the break, this is one of the things that you have to understand why some athletes, people criticize them for having this inflated sense of self, feeling as if they're superhuman, that they can do anything. When you beat cancer, and many people have money, have resources, and still don't beat cancer. So he's a fortunate young man in a position where he can pay for his treatment, the necessary treatment. But he beats that cancer, then he wins a gold medal at the Olympics. You can't fault him if in this moment he feels like Superman.
No, and this is the most amazing part of the story for me, George. The fact that, as he said, an aggressive cancer like that eats away at the muscles, your cardiovascular ability, and so on. So for him to get over the cancer or beat the cancer in July of 2019 and then to get silver in the World Championships a couple months later, that in itself is unbelievable, that he would have been able to rebuild his body in that time, get his fitness back up to that level. And you heard him speak about it, and as we have seen in the snowboarding activities, both slopestyle and big air, the toll that it takes on your body, the skills required, the muscle definition which is needed. I mean, it's magnificent what he has achieved. And as I said, this is one of the great stories of the 2022 Winter Games.
All right, so we'll take a break when we come back. Our final segment here on Winter Prime, the evening edition.
And so it was a victory lap for 15-year-old Russian star Kamila Valieva. She was the only woman to attempt quad jumps in the contest. She expertly landed it and became the first female figure skater to land a quad at the Olympic Games. She tried another and landed it as well. Then she had trouble on her third and final quad. It was still an incredible performance for the 15-year-old who has won a gold medal with her team at her first Olympic Winter Games.
So nothing really to see here except the most prodigiously talented 15-year-old figure skater that the world has ever seen. And trust me, there have been many prodigiously gifted and talented 15-year-old figure skaters in the history of the sport. But this one just has that little something that the experts who know this sport inside out believe is far greater than anybody they would have seen in the time that the sport has been professional. Absolutely otherworldly. We can't say amazing or wonderful, Chris, because those adjectives are used day in, day out. We have to go for something else. You have to say that what Valieva did was of a supernova kind of variety. You have to say that something like this deserves its own special treatment. This little woman, and remember, this is only the team event. There's a solo event to come. This little woman is not killing them softly. She's killing them, the competition, with a lot of noise.
As you said, She's won everything that she's competed in at the senior level, at the junior level, so no surprise. Even with a little blemish, shows that she's human, but look at how she recovered from that, made it look like it was part of her routine.
But do you call it a blemish when you do something that has never been done before, repeat that same something, and then only fail when doing that something for the third time? So you've done the impossible, you do the impossible twice, and on your third attempt at the impossible, you falter. Nobody's going to say that that's a blemish.
No, I agree, but at the end of the day, they will say, well, wow, she still had a little error, if you want to call it that way. But as I said, brilliant performance, the first ever done. And how she recovered, as I said, how she made that look like part of the routine just shows her skill level and her confidence to recover. The few tears after, maybe because she's such a perfectionist, that the fact that she had that little blemish was like, geez, how could she? But amazing, another gold medal. And as far as we are concerned, one more to come.
Yeah, and then Roberts, the last 90 seconds are yours. This 15-year-old, we spoke about her yesterday, about how prodigious her talent is, and she has made you go gaga, I'm sure.
Gaga like Lady Gaga. Let me tell you something. There are certain athletes that are just born to break records. This is what you call a multi-generational athlete. The flexibility, not only in her hamstrings and her quads, in her lower back. She has double-jointed flexibility in her shoulders and elbows. She rotates up her shoulders also effortlessly while interlocking her fingers, doing 2 quads. And let me tell you, Chris touched on it. You know what I am most impressed about this 15-year-old? She did the greatest performance in the history of the Olympics, blew off the world's best by 30 points, and she was upset that she had a blemish. That, you cannot teach that. That is what greatness is about. She was not focusing on what she did. She expected from her discipline, from her will, that she would be perfect. She was upset because of the third attempt at something that had never been looked at. She is totally distraught because she had a blemish. This girl, my goodness, they put tattoos of Diego Armando Maradona on their backs in Argentina. They should tattoo this girl on every part of their bodies in Russia. She is just a genius.
Absolutely so. Well said, my friend. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for speaking with us from the south of Trinidad, notwithstanding the internet challenges and everything. I'm hoping that the viewers heard you loud and clear, and we'll be back to do it again on Wednesday, well, on Tuesday. Chris, thank you very much for speaking so clearly and articulately on the issues, as per usual. And thank you out there for watching and staying tuned to SportsMax. Remember, we have the rest of the Winter Olympics covered for you. Blanket coverage like the snow on the outside in deep winter.